Yar, me mateys. We're dredging up some impressions. I'm
Aha!
Terrible puns.
I'm joined by my first mate, Chris,
Me hearties.
and my other first mate, Ryan. Is that how that works?
I thought we talked about this, Preston, before we started the stream. I'm the captain.
Oh, Captonius Rionius,
Yeah.
the
That's right.
15th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he looked you right in the eyes and said, "I'm the captain now." I don't know how.
Yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault. We're playing Dredge. Dredge is a fishing game, not a pirate game. I think most fishermen don't say yar. All pirates say yar. There might be a little crossover there.
I was gonna say, why can't it be both? Right? Like,
That's true. That's true. I have a little bit of experience with this game. I've got about, 5-6 hours, but it's enough where I feel comfortable about the loop to talk about it and give some introduction impressions. Chris, how much experience do you have with it?
I probably played like 3 to 4 hours of the demo. I actually played through the demo a couple of times because it wasn't like a super long demo, but I really enjoyed the game.
Ryan?
And I need to pick up the full release at some point.
Yes. Ryan? How much?
no experience. I've seen it mentioned on a lot of on my YouTube homepage from a lot of the YouTubers I like to watch. They're playing it and talking about it, but I haven't played the demo. I haven't really watched any of those videos yet because a couple of days before I started seeing them, or a couple of days after I started seeing them, you were like, let's do an impressions video. I'm like, all right. I'll put some blinders on for Preston here so I can, really get a peek at it now.
Well, I appreciate it. So Dredge in general starts off as a pretty straightforward fishing game. And as the further you get into it, the more you start uncovering a little bit of this like eldritch horror background to everything. And there's like some creepiness. You start, fishing from the depths, these very strange creatures. But on top of all of that, you're just trying to keep your day job as a fisherman and upgrade your boat, sell your more fish in order to upgrade your boat more, sell more fish. And that loop is incredibly addicting. You get that one more run sort of feel constantly in this game.
How high are the stakes for your day job? Like, if you don't pay off some loan in a certain amount of time, is this game over? Or
very low initially. There is a loan like right off the bat, but you can pay it off within, I think, even the first day. It's certainly not a Tom Nook situation where you're in hundreds of thousands of bells in debt or anything. You're just kind of there's a lot that they do to support you as the fisherman in order to like make the game a little bit more forgiving. Not that it's still not super easy in certain scenarios, but it's not punishing and it's not like laborious.
they want you to be able to succeed in your day job?
Yeah. And I'll show once we get to the upgrade system, like you can upgrade from anywhere or from any port rather than just having to go back to one specific port for upgrades, which is really, really nice because you're going all over the map.
Yeah, how far? Can you show us the map? Can you show us how far out you've been? Because there was like maybe like, I think there were 2 settlements and like 1 extra island that you could go to in the demo that didn't have a settlement on it. And that was about it.
So I'll get some kind of, it's getting a little late, so we'll see some darkness coming up here, but I'll get some context for the map. This is the starting island that I was just at. And then if you come out here, you'll see this other island across the water. I'm right in the middle of it all. If I open up the map, I'm in between these two.
Okay.
And this is it. I mean, this is the whole map. This isn't zoomed out or zoomed in. You'll have...
So the Marrows, I've been around the Marrows. I don't think you go to Steel Point in the demo, but those other 3 you could.
Oh, really? Okay. I see. These 3.
Yeah, the 3 and the marrows: the Blackstone Isle, Little Marrow, Greater Marrow.
As of now, I've been from here, around here in Steel Point, and then down into the Gale Cliffs, and that's pretty much it.
Nice.
One of the best parts is that time moves whenever you move or if you do something. So right now, time stays still until...
I really like that.
Yeah. And so if I want to open up my inventory and kind of do some inventory management, none of that takes time. As you can see here, I'm reading stuff to get different perks, and that takes time in and of itself. So if I move or doing anything, basically passes the time. And then you also have sort of a mini game, much like Resident Evil, of your inventory management. These pieces are parts of the ship that are locked in if they're gray. I can remove them, I can exchange them, I can upgrade them, but once they're locked in here and I'm using them, items cannot go over them.
Okay, right.
But anything that isn't gray can be moved around to a different order. And that matters a lot for the shape of the fish, which I'll try to catch here.
How many shapes do fish come in, Preston?
So many.
So many. So many. They'll be curved, or there's a whale. Not a whale, but like a shark that is kind of like 5 long. Then there'll be like 2 here, 1 here, and it'll just kind of be this really weird shape. And it becomes difficult. Like especially right now, I'm still in the starter boat, so I can get 1 shark, and I have to bring it back. So this is the main loop. I mean, I went out, got some fish. I come back to my fishmonger, and I sell these fish. There are story missions to complete.
How is your fishmonger married? You have a good life?
It doesn't seem like an exciting life. Although there was one point where I brought him a aberrant fish, where it was like a eel with a bunch of bulbs all over it, and he decided to try eating it, and it made him sick for a couple days. And now I think he's infected, and he's gonna require more aberrant fish.
Oh no, buddy.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation for this guy.
Yeah, I got a couple of those in the demo and ended up just like saving them in my storage because I wasn't sure. I guess in the demo it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but I wasn't sure if they were going to be useful for something later on. Do you have a sense of what those are for, or you just sell them to him?
For some story moments, like bringing one of those to the fishmonger for him to eat was a specific story moment. But a lot of times it's more about they sell for hire. There will probably be more importance to them, again, at like various points where it'll say, go fish for this specific type of aberrant fish. But as of right now, they just sell hire for me. This is going to be your shipwright, where you can get your upgrades. This isn't too bad. So at a higher range of lumens, this is your light. I can. It doesn't seem super important at first, but I'll show you exactly why your light is very important.
Now, Preston, I don't know if it matters, but I do notice you have the engines at the back of your inventory and the light at the front. Is that just your own internal consistency, or does that actually matter? Good
question. I don't know. We can mess with that. So
I assume it doesn't, because you have your engines placed left and right at the back.
Yeah. Those are definitely not in any actual direction. As you stay out later and later, you'll start to lose focus and lose sanity, basically. And from that, you'll have rocks that'll just suddenly appear in front of you while you're traveling. And if you run into one of them, then you damage your hull, which removes spots for you to be able to keep different fish. I'm trying to get it to happen, but seem to be pretty sane right now.
That doesn't sound
I
right.
disagree.
Yeah.
So have you run into whatever it is that can find you in the night, like that eyeball thing at the top?
Not yet, and I think that is more of your sanity meter than anything. And so as it gets later and later, that eyeball will start to become more frantic. And so I think that's supposed to be an indication of your sanity meter.
Okay.
Trying to catch an aberrant fish right now.
For your buddy the
There he
fishmonger.
is, a host eel.
What?
Yeah, whenever you hear that noise, numerous glowing shapes flicker and squirm behind a distended rib cage. The rest of the fish is withered and drained.
That.
There's some creep to it. There's some weirdness. I'm going to stay up all night just so we can show a little bit of craziness.
We've all been waiting for Bloodborne Cart, but instead they made Bloodborne Fishing.
Fishing game. Yeah, I'm in for it, honestly. Only $25 on Steam, you say?
Interesting.
Yeah. And as far as I know, it is only available on Steam right now. So if you see the regular ones sell for 17, at the bottom of that screen, my aberrant fish sells for 57. So it's a huge increase.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's mess around with those upgrades and see if moving something around does anything weird.
I'm curious.
Uninstall that.
Oh, see, no, you have to have the motor there.
Oh, you're right.
Right?
You're
Or
right.
is that left over from, yeah.
I wish I could set this down somewhere. Oh, to storage.
It's because you have to install it. It looks like only those slots. There we go.
Yeah, and you have to put lights up front. Okay.
And then it'll be fishing nets or fishing stuff will be on those side ones.
On the sides. Okay.
Do you have a bigger boat or motor that I could use here? But
But it doesn't fit in your grids very well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or well, I guess you could
wouldn't
install
be
the
worth
3
it.
and install the 2 bigger ones. Would that be better?
It wouldn't be worth it yet. The 3 smaller ones make more go
Power.
for me.
Make
than-
more go.
Yeah.
Preston, you hurt me sometimes.
What do you want the man to say?
It takes time to install anything, and it takes money to install anything. So
Sounds like life.
right. But if I were to research, you can research these different, upgrades, and they're all shaped a little differently, right? So
Why
they're
might you
gonna
need
fit.
heat-resistant lines, Preston? What kind of fish?
volcanic fish? There's tons of them out there.
In shallow water?
It's both shallow and I can do either or. So you'll come across areas where there will be a fish out in the ocean, and if I don't have an oceanic line on, then I can't catch that fish. at all.
Okay, right, yeah.
So this engine here that I'm actively researching is the smallest one, and it adds 9 knots, 9.5 knots. So I want to get one of these to kind of be able to fill up that extra space that I lose whenever I use the 3-sided.
Right. Yeah. So you use a 3, a 2, and then the 1.
Yeah. And then you get those research parts through fishing them up, story missions. There's some very, very light puzzles throughout, and you can get research parts from those puzzles. Encyclopedia. I have all of the fish and where to find them.
That's right.
There's,
These are some wild fish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy's real gross.
The lumpy mackerel. Ugh.
I can show y'all a little bit out of this main bay. I've got some crab pots out here that need repair, so I'll have to take those back in. Let's see, where's another area we can go? I guess we can go back out to the coastal, or the Gale Cliffs. There's one of them
shark.
sharks. Each fish has a slightly, like the main mini game itself is the same, but it changes depending on the fish, and that can be very frustrating. As you can see, this guy is very annoying to find a place for, but you're able to just move it around.
Nice.
And as you fish, like with that one, if I'm leaving, going off to do my own thing, your fish lose freshness. They become more stale and then eventually rotten.
Right.
And so you lose money, you know, the worse quality the fish is. So it's all about, do I want to finish this trip out, or do I want to just go ahead and turn around, drop this off, then go do a trip?
If you keep something in storage, will it rot?
Yes. Yeah, it's just if it's out. Oh, there's like a little story mission here. I'll check here in a second. But I do want to show, you also have your E, which is how you access your sort of different tools or your abilities. So I've got haste, well, which will kind of speed me up, but it'll overheat your engines and cause you to go a little crazy. It gets real scary when your boat starts going double speed. You approach a hooded figure, swathed in dark blue robes, their faces barely visible. Right, that's you.
Fisherman, please help.
You can barely hear the rasping whisper above the wind and waves.
Fulfill the hunger.
The hunger. The hooded figure unfurls an old paper scroll. They point to a shape shown at the top. It appears to be a blue mackerel. Easy. I can do that. Very easy. There are tons of mackerel over here. So as you get crazier, all of this redness starts coming into the sides. It makes it harder to see. And I believe I haven't let myself get real crazy, which I'm going to let myself do now.
That doesn't sound like the Preston I know.
But again, it makes more rocks appear in front of you, and just kind of increases your chance of crashing, especially now that it's night. There's going to be rocks left around.
You go in double speed right into him. Oh,
What I'm talking about.
the relaxed mind. That's maybe the best thing about these deep horror, but like not actually horror video games. It's like, what does any of this do? I don't know.
They do a really good job of that. With expert precision, they plunge their hands through the gullet of the fish and tear out the heart. They stuff it into their mouth unceremoniously.
Bore still empty.
If I had known. They point to another shape on a second scroll. This one looks like a tiger mackerel. I actually don't know where these are. I haven't come across these yet. So it's again.
Bore!
I'm sorry, sir. They do a good job of teasing out more and more fish and giving you reason to try to hunt them down. Oh, no. I don't know if it was because of that cloud I just lost my light.
Look at that eyeball freaking out.
Oh, look. A little float off in the distance. See, there's your, like, one of the fake boats,
Yeah.
or fake rocks that can definitely very much hurt you.
Well,
Are
how
they
fake is
really
it really?
fake then? Yeah.
What if this is just an alternate reality rock?
That's a good way to look. We're seeing into the crazier I am, the more I'm seeing into this alternate reality.
You've got eyes
Well,
on
like
the
one more.
inside of your mind.
Let's see. I'm staying up another
Grant us
full day.
eyes. Grant us eyes.
Have you tried chanting that while you play this, Preston? Does it do anything?
Grant us eyes?
Yeah.
No, what do they say? Oh, no. Okay, I haven't seen that. I have not
Jesus.
seen that.
I told you something was on to you.
Damaged.
Oh, and it's like 3 a.m. I can't see the... So there are beacons here that you can get closer to that will, I think, restore your sanity a little bit. But probably not a whole lot. Oh, hey, look. Shipwreck. Ooh. Worth it.
You lost the shark.
As
Good
you
job.
are out and about, you're going to want to dredge.
You're gonna want to dredge.
Is where you get your items. Is where you can get your upgrade materials. I think... I mean, I guess I just lost myself in the night, but I don't know how I made it all the way over here.
Where are you?
Very carefully.
Down by Gale Cliffs. So I made it down a little ways. Yeah, when stuff isn't really falling apart and you're not losing your sanity and your boat isn't being attacked by giant sharks, it's a very peaceful, lose yourself into it kind of game.
Yeah. Do you find yourself like getting a little bit scared in the atmosphere of it? Or just like a fun kind of scary atmosphere?
Yeah, fun kind of scary atmosphere, I'd say more. There are definitely moments where it's intimidating to continue. Like the Gale Cliffs here, there is a giant fish in there that'll attack you as you're trying to travel through them. And so as you're going around a corner, it'll be pretty tense. And you'll hear the noise start to swell, or the music start to swell as it gets close. And then you'll start to freak out. And it'll be sort of a panic-inducing level of music change. But it's nothing, there's certainly no jump scares or anything. It's more of just a very eerie atmosphere starts to creep in from the corners.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'd be pretty hard for a game like this to be like legitimately scary, I guess. More just atmosphere.
So here's one of the main upgrade trees, which is in the floating dock. I've already gotten all of these. And each of these just requires a set amount of materials. This is another thing, like I was saying, it's very gamer friendly, where the initial floating dock is in, or dry dock is in the first island, but you get the second floating dock whenever you make it out here. But all materials are shared between them, and you're always able to just drop off whatever you have and put it towards the system, or towards the upgrade, and then come back to it later.
Whenever you've got all the stuff.
Yeah. So
That's nice.
Plenty of money. Okay.
Yeah, come on, Preston.
I don't give you the repairs for free, that's for sure. I just opened up explosives, and okay, I was really worried that I wouldn't have the money after that. get this upgrade. And now let's check out how much hull we got.
Whoa!
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a lot of hull there.
That's a
Nice.
lot of hull.
Look at all that hull.
Give me more hull.
Now it looks like well, still only 2 spaces. So as now, if I go down the next tree, I've got 6 spaces for my motor, which is great. If I go down the next tree on the floating dock, I'll get more spaces for cargo, more engine, more fishing rod or net space. And then I'll show y'all this the last little. Gosh, that's one thing that I always do is I hit escape to try to leave a dock. 60% of the time. And
You're telling me that does not work. I did play this game with the controller. It works with the controller really well too. Inventory management is probably easier with the mouse keyboard though.
Yeah, menuing is always, of course, a little bit better, but I feel like the control and like you're talking about, like especially backing out of something, just holding down B, I'm sure. This is the dredging mini game, and this one you have to switch back and forth between lanes as they circle around, and it can be very difficult. This one isn't too bad, but it's out there it goes, and you see it drops back down. And again, like the main punishment for this is not that you won't get the item or that the item breaks; it's time. You start to lose
Right.
time on the day. This is something I just unlocked, so it's very nice to finally be able to get through these.
I can't wait for another large fish.
This is the area where there is one, and so
Go get him.
I haven't been able to blow them up yet.
A doubloon.
There's treasures you can just grab. I have not found that to be actually worthwhile, to be honest. Besides the occasional dredging up like a research part rather than a treasure. Up. Yep. Don't want that. There he is.
Oh, look at him. He looks friendly.
Boys. Yeah, and he will absolutely chase you down. And guess what? Most importantly,
You can go behind the waterfall.
nope. Oh, yep. There was something.
We can. Preston's just bad
There's
at
full
it.
damage behind the waterfall. Oh, you need something better to get down there?
Yep. Yeah.
This will look like, yeah.
I don't even know. I haven't even made it to a spot where I'm going to be able to get that, to purchase that yet. So yeah, do y'all have any final questions about Dredge?
What happens if your hull reaches 0?
Why did you do this to me?
Do you not know?
I have no idea. I am not. I don't die.
Can you save and then go die? I mean, go break your hull.
Okay. Party crab pot lost. Oh, just her. Starting.
Improved outboard engine disabled.
Hey, look. They wanted me to bring some crabs. You get, I don't know, just like upgrade items from that. Oh, the big guy's around here somewhere.
Yeah, let him find you.
Yeah, it's These moments really, whenever you're not purposely trying to destroy your ship, these moments can get very tense.
Very tense. It's 2 a.m. You haven't slept in 2.5 days.
Yeah. Oop. But now I have no light. What do you thought?
Excellent.
Oh,
what do you need
okay.
that for?
Look at the eyeballs.
Nice. Go into the light, Preston.
I'm just trying to talk to you guys. Why would anyone talk to me?
They don't have mouths, Preston. Listen.
Only eyes.
I have my mouth and they must scream.
Oh.
Oh, snap. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
There we go. So, load last save, which I guess we can find out when that would have been. Probably when I rested. Ooh, with the upgrade, sweet.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. That check mark or checkpointing is pretty good.
Decent.
Yeah, that is Dredge. Thank you all for letting
You think
me
it's,
have some gameplay with y'all.
You think it's going to be on your top 10 at the end of the year? Is that good or not? Or you're not ready to
I think so. If I can find the time in this very, very busy season,
So it won't be.
I am worried that it won't be because I won't have the time for it, and there are bigger games. But this is when I sit down to play it, it is fully consuming. It's just finding the time to actually sit down and play it.
Right.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank you, Preston.
Thank you.
And thank you, viewer, for watching another gameplay impression from Preston. A gameplay in Preston.
Play in Preston.
A gameplay
Is that the name?
Preston.
That's the name of that's the name of the series from here on out.
Sounds great.
Subscribe.
No forethought.